Okay, it's 4:30. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Compass Edge, third webinar titled Maximizing Domestic Travel Potential. I am Winnie Chui, Managing Director of Hospitality Host. I'm very honored to be invited by Anita Chen, CEO of Compass Edge, to be the guest host for this webinar. Today's program will have 3 presentations in total. Each speaker will speak for around 15 minutes. Then there will be a live Q&A for about 5 minutes after each of their sessions. You can type your questions in the chat box at any time during their presentations. I will run the Q&A sessions and will bring up your questions raised for the speakers. Also, I will introduce each speaker before their sessions. So now I would like to have a quick introduction of myself. For those who don't know me, I used to be Regional Director of Sales Asia, based at Intercontinental Hotels Regional Headquarters in Hong Kong. In mid-90s, I came out to become one of the founders for Sterling Hotels and Resorts by creating the whole Asia-Pacific profile. Subsequently, Sterling sold to Anasazi, which is a private label company who merged with UTEL International. I'm sure some of you still remember UTEL, where I was looking after their branding division. I'm sure you heard about the brand called Summit Hotels and Resorts and Golden Tulip Hotels and Sterling as a Regional Vice President Development. And then I joined Michaels Fidelio to look after their e-distribution as a Managing Director Asia. Travel Solutions was my own company where I tried to learn to become a bit of entrepreneur. So that's really the years that I really learned quite a lot. So in order to leverage my industry contacts, I joined a UK-based company called HoCaps International as a headhunter for 10 years by helping industry friends to find their dream jobs. Hospitality Host is an associate company of Compass Edge, and it is a business development arm for Compass Edge to offer the core products globally. Now let's take a look for this diagram. If you can see from the quick summary updated on August 2nd from Pierre Anderson Consulting, that most countries in their region are still imposing strict inbound and outbound travel restrictions. Look at all these red colors. It's a bit concerned, isn't it? Globally, according to the latest UNWTO travel restrictions report, while 87 destinations have now eased travel restrictions, 83 are still having partial closure of borders in place. And actually 115 destinations, about 53% of all destinations worldwide, continue to keep their borders completely closed for tourism. This is a worry, I'm sure. Now let's take a look for the next diagram. In as much as we put our hopes on the travel bubbles, still a few travel bubbles formed. This is why we are holding our webinar to focus on domestic travel, which is the main key topic for today. Then how about the green lanes? If you look at the diagram, or travel bubbles that we put our high hopes on. Unfortunately, you can see from real-time tracking by table, only 2 travel bubbles are formed in our region so far. One is between China and Singapore, and the second one is between China and South Korea. There are few more limited travel bubbles formed and quite a few under negotiations. But it seems that it is not progressing as fast as we may have hoped. That's why, no surprise, every one of us are trying to align its focus on domestic travel. So this is why Compass Edge hosts this webinar to focus on domestic travel. Now let's look for the third picture. According to Sabre's latest survey, 70% of consumers would opt for domestic and short-haul travel post-COVID-19. More interestingly, 68% said they will expect to book their future trips through a travel agent. That's quite interesting, right? And if you are in South Asia, it is an extraordinary high percentage at 90%. Wow. Do you know how to expand and work with travel agency network to capture more business and not to lose out to the big brands and your competitors? Think about it. Okay, I would like to introduce to you our first speaker today, Daniel Simmons, COO of HotelRez. HotelRez is a UK-based marketing representation company connecting independent hotels with bookers around the world. Compass Edge has been partnering with HotelRez for over 5 years now to provide additional marketing opportunities to our hotels. Daniel will share with us how independent hotels can thrive by maximizing domestic travel potential via the GDS agency system. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for such a great introduction. I hope you can all hear me. I'd just like to say it's such a pleasure for Anita to invite me today and the team at Compass Edge, who we work so closely with and we admire so much. I know since December, and especially since March for us in Europe, I mean, it's been such a challenging time for all of us. And thank you so much for everyone who's on today's webinar, because I know how busy all of us are and how crazy each day can be. I've actually been in the hospitality industry for over 30 years, and I've been at HotelRez for 15 years. And today what I'm going to talk about, and I've got about 20 slides, is just how important the GDS, which stands for Global Distribution System, is not only for the domestic market, but also for the international market. And it's so important for all of you that are property owners, whether they're apartments, villas, leisure properties, city centre properties, to consider either being on the GDS or making sure that you utilise the provider that you're actually with. So I'm going to start my presentation now, and thank you so much for inviting me today. Oh, sorry, just moving to my next slide. Sorry, everyone, I'm just trying to move to my next slide. So in 15 years, HotelRez was set up. It was actually set up by someone who used to become who used to work for Pegasus, is actually the 6th largest leading hotel representation company in the world. And that was in Travel Weekly last year. We've got 8 offices worldwide. And we're delighted that we have over 1,500 hotel customers. All of our customers are independent hotels or groups. We're in over 40 countries worldwide, and we're delighted to represent over 200 properties in Asia. We have a fantastic team. I'm sorry, just trying to get to the next slide, which is headed by Mark Lewis. Now, many of you will know Mark Lewis. He used to be quite a bigwig at Pegasus and the UTEL brands that Winnie just mentioned. And he kind of saw the way Pegasus was going. It was very American-led. And he decided 16 years ago that he will set up Hotel Res. And we're delighted that it's a hugely successful company, which is great, with a fantastic team of over 60 people. So as I mentioned before, I started 15 years ago. Now, I look after all of our clients. And what I do is, one, make sure that you're picture perfect on the GDS agency system, and also making sure that you utilize all of the various opportunities that are available for you to obviously get as much business as possible from that important travel agency system. We also have a great person called Yvonne Cobb, who's our Chief Financial Officer. And as all of us know, since December and March, it's so important, the financial part of any business. So Yvonne is very good at making sure, you know, that we account for every penny that we spend in our marketing and GDS advertising spend. Now, the other 2 pictures, or the 3 pictures of me, the one that you can see that's very professional was pre-COVID. And you can see how young and fresh I look. And then you can see that the one on the left was when I couldn't get a haircut, which was around July time. And then the one on the right is finally when the lockdown released in Europe, in London, and I could finally go and get my hair cut. So I just thought I'd put those in just so you can see exactly what we've been going through in the UK. So moving to the next slide. This is exactly where we stand. So Hotel Res is more than a representation company. You know, we're actually very much in the marketing side of things as well, to make sure that we don't just provide you the technology that you need. And I kind of put this slide together, and as you can see, there's a lot of names that you'll recognize here. So for you, there's a lot of choice of who you would want to be on the GDS with, and a lot of ways that you can get onto the GDS agency system. And there's a lot of choice out there for independent properties. So on the right, and this is literally just a snapshot of some of the ones that we work with, mainly in Europe, and there are some in Asia. So there's Pegasus, which obviously had such a heyday 20 years ago. Sabre, that you all would have heard of, TravelClick and SRH. So you can go down the technology route. The technology route is literally providing you with the actual software and allowing you to obviously, you know, develop your relationship directly with them, and to control your rates and inventory and the way that you're portrayed on the systems with them. And then on the left-hand side, there's more the higher cost and the more risks, because there's monthly fees, but it's more of a brand. And you can see I've just chosen some of the ones that are popular. Again, they all work with independent hotels. They don't own their properties. And they do allow you to put your properties on this GDS agency system. And Hotel Res, together with Compass Edge, very much works in the middle. So what we do is we want you to have access to this travel agency market. Obviously, every penny counts at the moment. So we want you to get the bookings at a fantastic return on investment. And we obviously want to provide you with the really, really good systems. And we want to make life as easy as possible for you. And all the systems that we put you on, you know, we want to make sure that obviously they interface to either the channel managers that you may get through Compass Edge or ourselves, or through your PMSs that you work with, that obviously you work very closely with on property level. So we want a really good cost-effective solution for you. Moving to the next slide. So the GDS, people are saying, why should I be on the GDS? And a lot of people over the years say it's completely dying. You know, the GDS is going away. It isn't actually. I mean, before COVID, it was actually growing at about 6% per year, which is fantastic. So the GDS connects you to these systems, Amadeus, Sabre, Galileo, or known as Apollo, or WorldSpan, and they give you access to millions of corporate bookers and also websites and corporate extranets that also book through them using the Disco or the GDSs. In 2019, 68 million bookings were generated through the GDS, and that's a lot of business through those 500,000 agencies. And also through the old Pegasus switch, which is known as Disco now, which is owned by RateGain. So it's so important to be on there. And what's also important is to remember that more and more agencies in your own country, domestically and international, are open all of the time. I mean, we've obviously got the big ones like the American Express and the flight centers, but there are more and more independent agencies opening all the time. So it really is a good time now to consider who your GDS representation is and making sure that you utilize exactly how you work with them. So looking at the next screen of exactly who is booking for you, you can see that the top TMCs, who you'll all be familiar with, I mean, Amex is still the biggest one worldwide. Then you've got Coulson. Flight Centres, which is actually based from Australia, is massive, also in Australia and also in Europe. BCD Travel and Radius, that's just a snapshot. There's about 17 big consortia out there. And the great thing with HotelRes and also your partnership with Compass Edge is we're actually preferred with 15 of those really big consortia. And we also own 2 of them. We also own Best Loved and World Rainbow Hotels that you might have seen on your Lanyon or Nexus tools for participation, which are actually part of the HotelRes family. But there's other consortia players out there in the industry, and a consortia, the difference between a TMC and a consortia is the consortias are a network of agencies that all work together for buying power. They don't actually own the property, the agencies, but there are thousands of them worldwide, and they're really important. Travel Leaders, Hickory, Thor, CCRA, which has just been bought by ABC, which is the biggest one in America. Then you have like government consortia, such as Amiga and Sato Travel. You have national agencies that are so important, such as eHotel and Dare Hotel in Capita. And what's so important for all of you to remember is a lot of you that are 4 or 5 star properties, a lot of these high-end and niche leisure consortia, such as Select or Ensemble or Virtuoso, Signature, American Express, Fine Hotels and Resorts, they all book through the GDS. A lot of them say they're invitation only, but we work very closely to try and get suitable properties into these programs. And all of you need these niche high-end programs now. You've all got fantastic properties in your own countries, and you need to make sure that you're in, you know, these high-end agency consortia, you know, to give you the extra demand and awareness that you all need at the moment. Moving to the next slide, you can see that there's so many different agencies that there were ever before, and they really do increase. I mean, they increased by over 2 million in 2019, and more agencies and corporates are being booked. And the reason why more and more agencies are being used by corporate people and also leisure people is for various different reasons. The first one is that, as we all know, money is so important at the moment, and procurement, especially if you're a finance director at a corporate company. or even us booking our leisure holidays. And when we book through the GDS and a TMC, we normally get reduced rates, maybe flexible off bar, or we get fixed corporate RFPs. And if you're a procurement manager at an agency, rather than all the employees booking their own travel, a finance director can track exactly how much is being booked. And remember, this isn't just on you as hotels, it's also on the airlines. So every day they can get a report from their travel agent on exactly what's being booked. And another important thing to remember, which is very, very interesting in this post-COVID world that we all live in, and I think Winnie kind of reflected why the agencies are going to be so important in the introduction, is that if anything happens, and in the past it has never been as big as this, but let's say that, in the past with, 9/11, a volcano cloud where all the flights have been booked, you need to get back probably to your own home and country. If you book directly with a property or through an OTA, there's not so much insurance. You might obviously have insurance yourself. If you book through a travel agency, whether it's a small one or a big one, such as an American Express, there's insurance. So all you need to do is phone up that travel agency to get you back home. And the other thing as well is, obviously, it's not just the travel agent that's insured, it's the GDSs. So the 4 GDSs all have insurance policies in place to make sure that you're safe if anything happens. And there will be regional outbreaks in all of the countries that we live in. And we need to be sure that when we're traveling there, that we can get back quickly. And that is why the GDS isn't going away. And it will get bigger and bigger once the market obviously recovers. Looking at the next slide, you can actually see the value of the GDS booker. I mean, $119 billion worth of business was booked. I mean, it's a huge market. I mean, it's a third of overall travel market. And a lot of you are sitting there and saying, oh, we get a lot of business direct from our websites. We get a lot of business, from the websites that are specific to our markets. Maybe it's Ctrip or Booking or Expedia. But for some hotels, especially if you're surrounded by lots of corporate companies, the GDS can actually be your number 1 or 2 channel if you manage it correctly. It was showing a fantastic growth. Obviously, at the moment, there has been a decline. But the GDS booker is someone that you want to stay at your property. They take at least 8 trips a year, which is predominantly business. But not only is it business, they also add on leisure to it, which is great. So a lot of people that are going to the exciting countries where a lot of you may be based, and especially if they're coming from the Americas, if they're coming from Europe, we want to stay on. If we're going, to Shanghai, to Hong Kong, to Beijing, we don't want to just go there for work. We want to add some time on afterwards to do a bit of a pleasure trip. So of course, what we're going to do is we're going to extend that stay through the agency. So it's long stay, it's good rate, a lot of loyalty. If they like your hotel, they're the type of people that are going to, use the restaurants, use the bars. They're not going to trash the rooms. They're a very high-end caliber of client. And they really, really are the type of booker that you want to stay. Having a look then at the next slide that I've got prepared. And this is based on Egencia, which is a massive corporate agency of Expedia. You can see that the people that have booked through the GDS, it's not so rate driven. It's not as rate driven as someone that might book through your own website or through an OTA. They do spend 23% more on a hotel room. They're 54% likely to cancel, which is fantastic. We all live in a world now, obviously, with government restrictions, with aviation. Not as many flights out there at the moment. We're so reliant on the government and aviation that cancellations play a huge part in our business. So it's so good to know that the GDS has less cancellations than any other channel. It's great for midweek business. And again, it's also good now for the pleasure business. Ages ago, someone asked me, I would have said that the GDS is predominantly corporate, but now it's about 60% corporate and 40% leisure. And you can see the slides, how important That is with the 23% more on hotel rooms that they're likely to spend, so rate isn't so good. And also the 54% that you're likely less to cancel, and also 82% but more on the Monday to Thursday. Now, everyone's thinking the costs of it, and I just saw a message pop up, and I know this might be for afterwards, but actually have a look at your GDS costs, because a lot of people think, oh, the GDS is really, really expensive. Well, it doesn't have to be. A lot of you are paying maybe 15% plus for your OTA bookings. So compare that to your cost of sale with your GDS bookings, and you might be pleasantly surprised. Having a look at the next slide that I've prepared, you can see that in conclusion, there's huge power to joining the GDS, and there's loads of reasons why you should talk directly to someone. And the fantastic team that we've worked with for many years at Compass Edge reach new customers. When you're on the GDS, you reach every single country worldwide that's internet-based or that has a GDS booking. You don't need salespeople in all these countries. You just need to be on the GDS. It can interface to your channel manager or PMS, so it's so easy to manage. It really does increase loyalty, and you get fantastic corporate guests that will use the facilities as well that you've got to offer. Moving to the next slide, and I'm so sorry I have to keep saying that, slight technical glitch. So what we do is when you join us, we make sure that you're not only on the GDS. And a lot of you that might be on the GDS and might be saying to yourself, right, what can I do now to make sure that I get more business? And there's loads you can do. And unfortunately, with the GDS, it's very much behind the scenes. With your own website and an OTA such as Booking.com or Expedia, you can obviously see it. You just log into the URL and you can see what you're on. With the GDS and what the agency sees, you're very much reliant on your partner and the systems that you're on to obviously update those to make sure you're picture perfect. And please do spend the time to do that. So what we do at Hotel Res and Compass Edge is we make sure that that excellent box is ticked. You know, we want to make sure that your images are fantastic. You have to have 20 good images, that your content's amazing, because a lot of the people from other countries and domestically will ask their travel agents, you know, 20, 30 questions before deciding which property to book. So we have to make sure that you're picture perfect. And we really want to make sure that you follow best practice. We have a great pricing strategy with the rates that you have portrayed on the GDS that we've put together with Compass Edge. And none of it's mandatory, it's all opt-in. And we really do have a good customer charter for all of our properties. So what you can see from the next slide is just some of the different best practices that we've put in for you. So it's so important that you do check your content on the GDS. You know, what is the name of your property? What is the city that you've got in there? What's the secondary city? If you're a rural leisure location, you know, will they be places that you know? You know, make sure that you can compare your, make sure that you can compare your cancellation rates to your competitor set, and we can do that. We can get a competitive analysis for you. Is your rate sequencing correct? Your actual rating, believe it or not, whether you're a 3-star to a 5-star or such a luxury hotel that you're not rated, is actually controlled on the GDS by a Canadian company called North Star. So we make sure that every month we send North Star detailed spreadsheets of all of your star ratings so that they update in their systems. So once they're updated on their systems, it's then updated on the 4 GDSs. Make sure all your amenities are there. You know, what is in your bedrooms? You know, what is in the restaurants? Make sure you have 20 to 25 good quality images. Make sure that all of your rates are loaded, not just your public rate, but also all of your niche rates and all of your promotions and packages. And make sure that in your room descriptions, you have as much description as possible with all of the different room sizes and the bed sizes and all of the amenities. As independent hotels, you're competing with all of the chains out there that are all on the GDS. And you really, really need to make sure that, you know, you're up there competing with all of those properties. So having a look at,
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
hello.
Daniel. Yeah, I think we are running a little bit out of time. I know you still have a few slides. Maybe you can speed up a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I could talk
Okay.
about the GDS all day. I'm going to be
Yeah,
really, really quick.
sure, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and thanks for interrupting. Sorry,
No, sorry
everyone.
for interruption.
No, you interrupt all you like, honestly. I appreciate that. So
Okay.
basically, Sabre has a huge presence in China. We're a preferred partner of Travel Sky. You all know, Sabre. You all know Travel Sky, which initially was the biggest GDS provider in China. But there are loads of other agencies opening in all of the countries, and more agencies opening in your domestic areas. So quickly moving to the next slide, you can see that, these are the reasons, and I've kind of spoken to them before, this is why you should join. It's proven to get more business. It connects you globally and domestically. There's loads of agency partnerships. Quickly then moving on to the next one, these are 10 tips, and I think actually a lot of this has been covered, so we can quickly just flick through all of these. So we did this as a guide. So one of them is obviously on your content, you must make sure that all your safety COVID measures are in there, and clearly it's all to do with safety with the leisure and the corporate traveller. Exploit your guest database, make sure that you're emailing them, that you're carrying out digital campaigns to them. Especially the 20 to 39 age group, the millenniums who are the keenest ones to travel as soon as possible. So the third point that we put together was make sure that all of your sales conditions are flexible. Everyone wants same day now. You can still on your website have the prepaid options, but but make sure it's more flexible. Check that your images are fantastic. Number 5 is obviously check your content that I've mentioned before, not just your descriptions, but also, what you're near, what airports you're near, what motorways you're near. Make sure that if you're already on the GDS, you don't have any expired rates is number 6. Number 7 is make sure that make sure that the domestic market is the most important with the niche marketing campaigns. Also, make sure that you activate all your digital media marketing campaigns. Now's the time to start that to give you a push. And then my last 2 slides are obviously if you work on the meta search market, make sure that you favor a CPA model so that you just pay on a cost per acquisition. And the last thing is really, really make sure that you're on the GDS system. If you're not, get on it. And if you're on it, make sure that you contact your provider now to make sure that obviously that you're picture perfect on the systems to get as much business as possible. So I've overrun my time. Sorry, I'm a GDS person. I could talk for hours on it. But I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. Everyone be safe, be happy, look after yourselves. I know it's a worrying time for everyone. And thank you so much for the team at Compass Edge for inviting me today. So over to you now. I think there might be a Q&A if I haven't run out of time, but over to the next presenter. So I'm not quite sure if anyone's got any questions for me or if I've got time for any questions.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'm sure there's a lot of valuable information you're eager to show us. That was a great presentation. Thank you very much. Now, everyone in our industry, they are all struggling. That's why performance-based programs are definitely what independent hotels are looking for. So now is the Q&A session. If anyone, have you heard about the booking window is getting shorter and shorter? Now let's see if we will have any questions. You can by all means type in the chat box. We have a chat box over there. That was a very, very good presentation. We heard the, yeah, we really appreciate your time.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Winnie. Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Any questions? I will read out.
I've had a few just to mention on my private chat about commissions. And can I suggest, whenever, I think that's probably best for you, Winnie, and Anita to pick up afterwards.
Okay.
So there's been a Kate, a Philip. I'm not quite sure where they're from, but if you've got, if you want to know what the commission structure is, if you email Anita afterwards, she'll be
Sure.
able to assist you with that.
Sure. Do we see any questions over there? Let me see. Glass on. Okay.
I think there's one on niche marketing.
Right. Can I ask about? There's a question from Anita. Can I ask about niche marketing program?
Yeah,
think
I
for
mean,
the commission structure,
no,
we can
absolutely.
discuss privately. Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, no. I mean, with niche marketing, you've all got fantastic properties, whether they're 3 to 5 star. And it's so important for you more than ever to obviously make sure that the bookers are aware not only of your property and where it is, but also the facilities that you've got within those properties. So we've developed specific niche campaigns. It can be spa, it could be airport, it could be gourmet, it can be pet friendly, and it's really to reach the booker, offering them tailor-made opportunities. Behind the scenes, we've got partnerships with Disco and GDS agencies who's booked those specific niche programs. We use a lot of our GDS advertising to promote them. There's a lot of e-commerce mailings to the IATA database that we own. And we also do a lot of social media activities via our digital marketing. So basically, in a nutshell, niche packages, and we have them all set up, it basically creates awareness for what you've got to offer within your properties that drives more traffic and more bookings, which is what all of you need at the moment.
Okay, I've got another question from Ronnie. Not too long ago, I heard a few airlines are establishing their system in order to bypass GDS. However, in-plant agents could still book seats via GDS, but with extra fee. What's your comments on this?
I mean, it's such a difficult one. I mean, we're a member of HEDNA that you might have heard of, which is the big organization that runs the electronic organization. I mean, their figures are that more and more agencies, when you open a hotel, you look at what PMS system you want to use. When I'm an agency or a corporate, I look at how am I going to book flights? How am I going to book hotels? And the easiest way to do it is through a GDS system, whether it's Sabre or WorldSpan or Galileo. There's a lot of advantages for agencies and corporates using them. And the statistics show that before COVID, I mean, it was increasing by 6%. And also a lot of these agencies, you know, are still going, sorry, a lot of the corporates are still going through agencies, one to get fixed corporate rates and one for the insurance. And also, as I mentioned before, the finance and procurement. If these agencies or corporates all booked independently, it'd be so difficult to track how much was being spent. Whereas if you book through an agency, your full travel, you know exactly every day how much you've been spending. So, you know, agencies can use other routes, but, you know, GDS isn't going anywhere and it is getting bigger and bigger each year.
Okay, I hope Daniel has answered your questions. If not, we can discuss offline. Any more questions? If not, then we're going to move on to the next speaker. Shall we?
Well, thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hey, thanks for that. I wonder if I would have been classified as a road warrior back in the day. So look, for easy reference, you can call me Dan. Obviously a little bit confused with a Daniel and a Dan, but my name's Dan and I'm from Triptease. I'm just trying to get control of the presentation. Not too sure what's happening there. But
I just want to have a very quick introduction. After understanding the travel agency side, it is near and dear for all of us to want more direct bookings, I'm sure. That's the message, right? I would like to introduce you to the second speaker, Daniel Morat, who is the general manager of Triptease. He will share some specific data and insights on how we can leverage direct Triptease, drive more web traffic through mega search, increase bookings conversion through retargeting, and personalization on top of its rate comparison tool. Compass Edge has also been working with Triptease to provide more direct bookings for our clients. Now over to you, Daniel. Well, Dan, we have two Daniels today.
No problem, no problem. Look, thanks for that. I think that sort of sets it up nicely for what I'll try and cover today, which is certainly more around some of the data insights that Triptease has been able to leverage and to help us all kind of navigate this this current situation. So I'm not too sure, Polly or Winnie, if you guys can throw up the slides. Perfect. Okay, so while that's setting up, in terms of sort of who Triptease are, I can sort of kick off there for you guys. Triptease are a technology company. Oops. I think I've lost the screen. Sorry guys, 2 minutes. We're just trying to sort out the current. There we go. Okay, perfect. That should be fine. Okay, great. So, so look, we work with a number of hotels across the region. We also have great partners such as Compass as well. We work with a lot of large and independent hotels, right through to the small sort of boutique hotels. We've been in Asia about 18 months, 2 years, and in that time, we've got about 2,000 hotels signed up to Triptease, and we've got about sort of 250,000 hotel rooms currently working under or with Triptease. So we are all about direct bookings. Globally, we've got about 10,000 partners. And what we do is on a monthly basis, we are all about trying to help clients get more and more direct bookings. So what that typically means is you've probably seen us on a website somewhere. You see us on the offsite guest experience, so trying to help you drive traffic through to your business through meta search. And then once you're on the website, we also try and drive conversions by effectively sort of showing consumers and guests that you guys have always got the best price. And then additionally, we've got a lot of personalization options which help you to ensure that you get the right message to the right person at the right time. And then all of this is underlined by our parity data. So effectively, every time someone searches for a room or a night, we also then go and check the OTAs and ensure that you have the best price. And if you don't have the best price, notify you of that. So then obviously you can try and fix that conversation to make sure you're all on the level playing field. Now, what this means is we have about sort of 60 million sessions a month that we currently analyze, which have been providing with some valuable information during the COVID times. So what you'll see is we have had a huge impact to the travel industry that I don't really need to dig into because I imagine everyone's feeling it. But what I think isn't being digged into as much is actually some of the regional travel differences. So this is a sort of cohort of our data from Q3 2019. And what you can see here is quite interesting, is obviously APAC sort of domestic travel is considerably lower than the NORAM markets. And you can see obviously sort of the continental and intercontinental breakdown. Now, what that means, I think, is when sort of the US is starting to resume travel, the domestic business is going to be able to sort of make up for that shortcomings a lot quicker. Whereas in APAC, we're sort of struggling to find that sort of uplift in domestic business that's going to really sort of make up for that intercontinental and continental business. But one of the things that we have seen is a further impact to the year-on-year revenues for the different regions. So APAC obviously got hit hardest, first up, no surprise. And it's also as well the one that's experiencing the biggest challenges. So I have got good news later in the presentation, but I think it's worthwhile kind of bearing in mind that the regional challenges that we have are very specific to Asia and what that is encompassing. So what we do on a weekly basis is we actually break down the recovery profiles. So these are effectively looking at all our hotel partners and trying to understand, well, how quickly are they getting back to normal and what do their recovery curves look like? So I'm not going to dig into each of these, but what I will say is that every country has its own profile. But what is a similar vein is that the countries that are recovering from that domestic travel, which is why I think it's so important to try and look at that and understand how can we leverage it. Now, obviously, as shown earlier, it is slightly easier for the US and EMEA to leverage that domestic business. But as you can see, in some partner markets in Asia, actually domestic business is actually beginning to fight back quite quickly with the level of sort of staycations that are coming up and coming on board. Additionally, what we've also seen is a huge change in lead times. So back in sort of February, March, I don't know if everyone remembers when this was all starting, we saw people doing huge lead times for their searches, 60 days or above was kind of the general norm. But recently what we've seen is that is actually shifting quite dramatically to what's happening this weekend. Speaking to hotel partners, we can speak to them on a Wednesday, and then by the Friday, they've gone up to 80–90% occupancy for that weekend. And I think that's a trend that's going to continue, certainly for the short-term future, when we start to look at the current sort of challenges that we're seeing getting back to some of those international markets, and obviously with the government restrictions and how they're working out for each of us. The other huge change and shift that we've seen is that Asia's been no stranger to mobile, and mobile outweighing domestic, outweighing desktop traffic has always been a thing in terms of visits. But what we've seen is in the last sort of 6 to 8 months is actually mobile searches are now overtaking desktop searches. And combined with that, we're actually seeing a huge increase in mobile revenue. So it's now breaking 50% of the revenue that our clients are experiencing. And that is a huge, huge shift change. So it used to be that everyone was looking at the website. It's now everyone is actually searching and booking from mobile. And I think this is a trend that's likely to continue as well, certainly again for the foreseeable future, just in terms of how people are looking to book and react to this current crisis. Now, with all that information, there's a lot of people that have reacted well, and there's a lot of people who are holding ground and seeing how this is all going to end up. And I think you just have to look in the news in any day and you can see a new article, some new partnerships, some new conversations, some new, fairly impressive news. And I think the rate of change that's happening in the travel industry certainly wasn't seen the previous months. But what I can certainly say is it's the OTAs have successfully used downturns like this before in their past to try and gain their advantage. And if you look to the sort of 2008 crisis, whoever was in these sort of positions previously, that is when the OTAs grew in dominance. And I think it's up to each of the hoteliers here to decide how they want to control their business for the future. Yes, you can farm out to try and drive up occupancy or keep your RevPAR high, but actually I think what you'll see is it's really a huge decision time for hotels. There you go. About which way you go. Guests are now coming back to the hotel websites to look and understand at what is happening and making their time to decide. So when they do take those holidays, they are visiting that website. They're not trusting the OTA level of information. So now is a time for each of the hotels to try and take advantage of that. So what we're seeing with our hotel partners is they've lost a bit of faith, and they are visiting your website and they're trying to answer a number of questions. What's the situation? What offers do they have? What measures of health and safety are you taking? And we feel as though this is a huge opportunity to try and re-establish some dominance in terms of those direct bookings. Once they've visited your website and they've landed on your pages, why would you want them to book back through an OTA? Now is the time that you can start to convert that data and convert that traffic. So what we've done is we've produced a hotel strategy handbook, and I would certainly recommend that after we sent out the slides, for you guys to go and download that. And it really starts to talk about your strategy during each and every phase of that process. If you're still shut, if you're getting ready to reopen, if you're launching domestically, launching internationally. It's got a lot of different scenarios in it and a lot of creative recommendation, and some videos as well that you can share. But what I'll do is I'll share with you a couple of the sort of key points that may be relevant based on some of the data we're seeing. So the first thing that I would say for each and every one of you to look at is, right now when occupancy isn't back to where it was and revenue is down, focus on that UX. How is your mobile booking experience going? What does your desktop look like? What is that experience? How often are you doing those searches? How often are you running a VPN search and looking at what experiences looks like from various countries? Additionally, the information that you need to present needs to be clear and concise. So, if you've got your cancellation policy in small print at the bottom of the page, people aren't going to sort of spend time to try and find that now. They want it front of mind. They want that experience of your user reviews front of mind. How quickly does it take you to get these offers up on your page at the moment is a question I'd ask. If it takes you 2 weeks to change information on your website, well, 2 weeks right now is a long time, and you need to be able to update this and test it on a daily basis. What we've certainly seen now is COVID has given us an ability to test things at scale that previously we were afraid to test because it was going to impact current occupancy, peak summer periods, and we were like, we don't want to test a new promotion. We aren't sure that's going to go down. Whereas right now we're seeing a lot of clients actually testing new offers, new ideas, and new information. So, what are those creative revenue drivers? What is it that you can experiment with? Create that offer. If it doesn't get the clicks, the views, then try something else. How is it that you can actually sort of utilize your current situation to your full advantage? So again, think about the time it takes you to create these offers, and then as well, look at how often you're actually testing and testing again. So, how often do you look at the results from your offers? If you've still got an offer page that's on the 3rd tab in your website, well, is that really presenting it front of mind for these people? You worked long and hard to try and come up with these creative offers. Now you've got to make sure that you present the information in the right way. Additionally, I would say data is more and more important. I imagine you're getting asked for kind of daily, weekly reports from the owners around what's happening, when can I expect that recovery? And one of the things we're sort of trying to see now is actually how often people are monitoring that data, looking at things like price parity. How do you compare to the OTAs? What is search rates looking like in the next 6 months? Getting your access to the right data, however you do it, is going to be key to be able to plan and be able to respond to the next sort of 6 months of this journey. And then I'm not sure if anyone recognizes this man. I'll be very impressed if anyone does. It was a bit of a sort of left field when my CTO showed it to me. But this is William Rogers, who's an American stage and film actor. Effectively, what we're sort of trying to demonstrate here is consumers are often making decisions about a business based on their first experience or their first impressions. That is well known. But with today's current change in supply and demand, your first impression is going to count more than ever. And what we've seen earlier is that mobile is probably now the biggest gateway to your hotel in terms of not just visits, but also searches and revenue. And one of the things I sort of speak to a lot of digital marketers around and chief revenue officers is how often have they done a mobile search? How often do they go on their own device or someone else's device or get their spouse or a friend to actually go through their mobile experience? Typically these things get looked at once a quarter, but what we're typically finding is, 53%, a stat from Google is 53% of website traffic is abandoned if your mobile experience takes longer than 3 seconds to land. So if you're doing these searches and it's taken 10, 15, 20 seconds for that experience to load and be shown, the consumer has lost confidence and gone somewhere else. So how is it that you can actually ensure that that experience is seen and actually reflected in the value that you put into your business? So one of the sort of homework items I would hope that everyone can take away from this is to actually, perform these mobile tests. Grab someone's Android device, grab someone's iPhone, see how it appears, see how it measures, turn on a VPN, do the search from another country. What does it look like? Is it being personalized? Is it loading properly? Are the offers in the right place? Because mobile is going to be so critical to that response. So one of the things we've done at Triptease is we've actually sort of built a mobile overlay. And what we found is that actually a 3-step process is probably the most ideal way to get hotelier or to get guests to convert on your website. Now, we're not looking to change out your booking engine. This is effectively an overlay that we've created that sits on top of the booking engine, but it's all about speed and optimization. And being able to sort of offer the guest the choice and in terms of the right creative and the imagery is obviously key. But if you don't have a 3-step process, you're going to have to look at where are people dropping out on that process and how can you tie that up and make it shorter and get it into a more succinct process, because I think you'll see that that will be the sort of quickest revenue drive that you can actually deliver to the business. And lastly, that was a real sort of whirlwind sort of run through a lot of the data and the insights that we provide. But if you do have any burning questions or you do want to get in touch with us, we've got a team in Singapore that will be happy to help and work with you or provide some diagnostic on your mobile experience and make some recommendation. And yeah, like what I can say is right now it is tough, but certainly we are seeing a lot of our hotel partners actually respond in ways that are actually generating some significant uplift just by changing the way that they're personalizing and actually engaging with the consumers that are searching. And that is what I would ask each of you to go away and have a think about, is how can you continue to do that? So hopefully that was within time limits. I didn't get told if it was or not, but hopefully that's good. And if you guys have got any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
That was a very good presentation, Daniel. Thank you very, very much.
No problem.
Now, that was a very good insight. We heard about the booking window is getting shorter and shorter post-COVID-19. And it's very important to grab opportunity to convert traffic into bookings direct, bookings right away, or the bookers may never return. So it is now the Q&A time for this session. I will read out some questions from the chat box, and audience can also type in your questions now. So let's see, anybody got any questions? Okay, I've got one. Is Triptease having different strategy in Asia compared to the rest of the world?
Yes, I would say we're definitely trying to approach the Asian market just because that difference between international and domestic business. One of the things that we've seen is actually we thought that the price point would be more important post-COVID, but we're actually seeing it less important. And what I mean by that is hotels with a higher price point are seeming to do better without having to lower their rates than we thought was going to be the case. We thought there was going to be a big drop in RevPAR during this period, but those that have actually held their price points as they are seem to actually sort of be recovering quicker and actually keeping that occupancy higher. Now that could be the difference between kind of the luxury resorts and the kind of mid-tier resorts, but I think it also sort of goes to show that they're taking the experience and people are still wanting to travel and people still have an innate desire to travel. So if they're going to do that, they want as best an experience as they can within their price point. So that hotel that was $300 that's now dropped down to $100. Well, we're finding the ones that kept their price at $300 as more as being able to sort of drive better occupancy.
Yeah, it's always the RevPAR that matters, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's right. Have you got any more questions? Let me see the chat box? If not, maybe we can move ahead since we're running a little bit of overtime. Thank you so much, Daniel.
No
thank you very
problems.
much. And let's, if you have any questions, maybe we can discuss offline. Now,
Perfect.
okay. Now we need to get things in action. Carrie Lee, the account manager of Compass Edge, will share practical tips to maximize online. Compass Edge team puts on its consulting cap and provides you with a list of actionable suggestions you can set up in your system right away to maximize domestic bookings. The team has also prepared recovery marketing program to give you a head start to maximize domestic travel potential. Since 2008, Compass Edge partners with the leading technology providers to offer the best of the breed system backbone to our hotels. It is white label solutions, including an internet booking engine we call the IBE, Mega Search Integration, CDS, connectivity, and channel manager. Its solutions address not only the technology side of the business, but also demand generation side through marketing. Over to you, Carrie. The show is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Winnie. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie. According to Sabre newly surveyed, 86% of travelers is strong confidence in international brand-trained hotels post-COVID-19. However, independent hotels still have the opportunity. Hotels just need to work hard to increase the confidence level for the traveler. Today, I'm sharing some tips and recommend action to help you to maximize the domestic booking potential. Furthermore, we proactively come up with a recovery marketing program to support you. I'm sure you don't want to miss it. We come up into 8 trends turning into trips to add on it. So the trends are: number 1, driving trips and staycations; number 2, wellness travel and ecotourism; number 3, domestic corporate travel; number 4, COVID-19 precautionary measure; number 5, new normal in-room amenities; number 6, local experience; number 7, flexibility in booking policies; and number 8, personalized communications. Let's start with the first trend, driving tips. The hotel should shift the focus on location details from international airport to domestic airport in order to cater to the domestic market. My first tip is to update the information on the domestic airport, direction from downtown, index close by city within 4 hours driving range to the hotel GDS description and hotel website. And the second tip is to add relevant information such as inside car park, parking fee, and the number of parking slots for the hotel GDS description and hotel website. Continue to trend 1, staycation. It is a great way to discover new places and relax in their own time to escape from daily work, especially while outbound travel restricted. My tip here is to set up a staycation package tailored for the domestic market. The package should be with more value add, flexibility, and friendliness. Here are some ideas for the package inclusion, like offer flexible check-in and check-out time, point-to-point transfer, and double coupon reward, etc. Moreover, the hotel can take the advantage of its uniqueness and facilities to shift the purpose or function to adapt, like turning the meeting rooms into private theaters for a unique experience. Trend number 2, wellness travel and ecotourism. According to McKinsey data, travel companies redesign their traveler experience to address risk and anxiety related to COVID-19. So hotels should also remember that the pain point and the trends that exist before the crisis, such as the shift toward to a more digital and personalized journey, and an increased emphasis on wellness and sustainability. So my fourth tip is to create a stress relief wellness package for the domestic market, such as yoga, spa, massage and retreat program, etc. Move to ecotourism. People prefer outdoor and eco-friendly activities. And the fifth tip is to prepare hiking maps, cycling rentals, photography, and off the beaten path small group tours for guests. Move to trend 3, domestic corporate travel. I'm sure you don't want to miss out your domestic corporate market. Due to budget concern, I believe many hotels are short-handed. In the view of this, my sixth tip is hotels should set up confidential local corporate rate in local language in the mobile-friendly booking engine. The booker just enter the corporate code to book it directly. They can get the sale with low delay and receive an instant confirmation. It is a cost-effective way for corporate executives to book the negotiate corporate rate easily electronically. And for a hotel, you will not lose the sale because you are short-staffed and not able to take domestic corporate bookings via the phone or email, etc. Move to trend number 4, COVID-19 precautionary measure. Understand from the survey, these are what travelers from all around the world care today when selecting a hotel. It shows travelers care most actions from hotel. A majority about more intense room cleaning, including UV light disinfectant, conduct a COVID-19 rapid test, additional cleaning downtime between stays. In fact, some actions were important at the beginning, like contactless check-in and check-out, COVID-19 free decoration, allow room service only. As time goes by, it is not on the top of the list. For hotels, it is important to address the pretending arrangement or policies according to the situation and keep your hotel website and GDS channels with up-to-date info. Along the line, I believe the hotel has a precautionary measure to ensure the health and safety of your guests, like a UV light disinfection machine, temperature measurement, employee wear protective equipment, etc. So the question is, do you communicate with your guests? Like Daniel of Hotel Rest Sharing, the hotel should communicate on the sanitary safety COVID measure you have taken. Seeing is believing. So the tip is to update your COVID-19 precautionary measure related image on your website and GDS HOD as well. So trend number 5, new no-room in-room amenities. As the world addresses the new travel norm and expectations, the hotel should be enhancing in-room amenities to show you are caring and expand the traveler comfort level. My tip is, it is equally important to update description about the new normal in-room amenities for each room type in both booking engine and GDS, that is the travel agency network. Come to trend 6, local experience. Do you know other than rooms, you can sell or include add-ons during the booking process? We call it dynamic packaging. Guests can customize it and make it personalized, and it is good for upselling and maximize hotel revenue while booking produce. For the domestic market, many choose to travel for celebrations. So include a 3 small gift birthday cake, which you do anyway, in the booking process may win their heart. So tip number 9, use dynamic packaging to enhance local experience. Continue on local experience. Authentic local experience constitutes a dominant trend post-COVID-19. The tip 10 is revisiting reference point setting and include local authentic attraction point in both GDS and website. It is because for domestic travelers, where they want to go may be different from international travelers. So next trend is flexibility in booking policies. Due to the pandemic, airline and big bands are imposing flexible booking and cancellation policies. So tip 11 is offering flexible booking policy to increase booking conversion and update on both GDS and booking engine. Come to Trend 8, Personalized Communications. Don't forget, pre and post communication is an important aspect of building the long-term relation with your guests. It is a low cost, little effort, but offer big returns. The pre-stay email should send 3 days prior to arrival, and the post-stay email should send 5 days of the guest departure. So tip 12 is pre and post-stay email can be customized. The pre-stay email should now include the hotel cleaning protocol and parking information, etc., to give the booker the peace of mind. And tip 13 is a post-stay email should now encourage guests to share their stay experience on TripAdvisor, and more importantly, on social media. It can influence friends and families. So according to the European Travel Commission survey, 36% of the cancelled booking will keep the same itinerary with new days. So tip 14 is to call out a cancel report and reconnect with them. Tip number 15, the last but not least, you can join our recovery marketing program to offer your bookers an exclusive deal. And it is no cost for Compass Edge hotels. So let's take a look at Compass Edge recovery marketing program for the CRS hotels. Compass Edge always think forward. We proactively launched a recovery marketing program with 3 actions to support our CRS hotel clients. Action A, repeated guest exclusive offer, only for you. Action B, e-discount voucher program. Action C, additional social media marketing exposure. So action A, repeated guest exclusive offer only for you. I just say we need a reward on cancellation. The objective for only for you is to incentivize canceled reservation bookers to rebook with new days. Additional, to reward repeated guests who has stayed at your property before to motivate them to rebook. And it is only available on direct channels, get direct bookings, and save costs. You may wonder, what are the communication vehicles? Suggest to highlight on the hotel official website, such as pop-up window box, top banner, etc. Also, you can include it on your posting email and promote it via Compass Edge B2C Go Hotels Go website and Facebook Shop Now. So, how it works? Compass Edge preset up the only for you rate plan. Don't worry, it is a hidden rate, has no rate disparity issue. Hotel just need to set a divided rate, add inclusion, update the policy, and activate it. Booker only need to enter the promo code only for you in the booking engine, and the hidden rate will show up. So how Compass Edge helps? We have created Go Hotels Go, a travel portal to drive traffic to our members' hotels since 2010. A repeat guest exclusive offer page will be created on gohotelsgo.com website, featuring all participant hotels with hotel name and a book now link. And on Facebook, we will create a push post for participant hotel using the hashtag only for you, exclusive offer, and utilize the shop now button to drive the traffic to direct to the book now link. It is no cost for our hotel because we pay for you. Action B, e-discount voucher campaign. As you can see, one of the OTA is offering a deep discount of up to 60% for over 30,000 hotels. This is why we do not want to compete with OTA deep discount rate group. The objective of the e-discount voucher campaign is not to compete with OTA hands-on with deep discounting strategy. With limited quota e-discount voucher campaign to spur demand, and it is only available on direct channels, get direct bookings, and maximize auxiliary revenue. Again, while Compass Edge B2C Go Hotels Go website and social media marketing to communication vehicles. How does it work? The e-voucher can be downloaded from all Go Hotels Go social media platform. Limited quota. Each voucher is numbered. When guests present this voucher, they should entitled to pay $75 only to enjoy $100 value. The voucher can be used for the room, direct booking only, food and beverage, and spa, etc. E-discount voucher campaign will be launched on August 18, 818, with 4 consequent updates to add new participating hotel each week. How Compass Edge helps here? We are leverage our B2C Go Hotels Go channel, and we run the campaign on our social platform, which is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. to get more exposure. In the first 7 months of year 2020, we post 3,604 social media posts with over 34 million total impressions achieved, with close to 500,000 followers. We create a e-discount voucher page on gohotelsgo.com and gohotelsgo.com.cn website, featuring all participant hotels. Also, on Facebook, we will take advantage of the offer feature to further push it to the public audience. Low cost for our hotel because Compass Edge will pick up all the costs. So Action C, additional social media marketing exposure. Since 2015, Compass Edge has been a niche player for online branding for hotels for the China outbound market. We see the importance of social media marketing from experience pros to short-form videos to live streaming to inspire young travelers. So how it works? To further promote Compass Edge CRS hotels, you are welcome to share your posts to us, and we will reshare on our Go Hotels Go social platform, even share on China platforms. So content marketing. Many times, travelers are looking for itinerary articles, travel guide articles, even for domestic travelers. Compass Edge curate original content article on a weekly basis on Go Hotels Go Chinese social media platforms. We will now include our CRS hotel that we do not have the geographic coverage under Go China yet to be included in these travel guides articles, so that we will cover more countries, cities, themes, and different styles of hotels to present richer content for the audience that will be a win-win for all of our hotels. This is the end of my sharing. Hope you like our 15 tips, and please contact your account manager if you are interested in our recovering marketing program. Thank you. And over to you, Winnie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a very, very comprehensive talk. Like Carrie said in the beginning in her presentation, some travelers may lean towards booking big brands to hotels post-COVID-19. Independent hotels or small, medium, local chains really need to do more in order to earn the business. It is great to have this comprehensive action from Compass Edge team. Last but certainly not the least, it is now the Q&A time for this session. I will read out some questions from the chat box. By all means, you can type your questions there. Okay, let's see. We have got some questions here. Carrie, any success case to share?
Yes, Winnie. We do have some success case. So a beach resort in Monet, which is about 4 hours driving time from Ho Chi Minh City. And the hotel have created a promo code with a hidden rate plan. And the promo code has been included in the promotion banner to push the business. And compared with last month, the hotel has picked up almost 40% revenue.
Wow.
Also,
great.
Yes, there's a hotel in China. They have focused on the domestic corporate travel, and the hotel have a significant increase on revenue pickup, which over 100%.
Wow, congratulations. It's nice to hear. Well, give us more confidence to try, right? More
Thank you.
power. Yeah. I've seen another question from Philip. What booking trends are seen at present for independent versus branded hotels? Would you be able to answer that question, Kerry? What booking trends are seen at the present for independent versus branded hotels?
Yes. According to the Saban Uni survey, about 86% travelers is strong confidence in international brand chain hotels for COVID-19. So, however, independent hotels still have the opportunity. Hotels just need to work hard to increase the confidence level for the travelers.
I see. Okay. Well, I think I've got to control the time. We are running out. I think we're running a bit of time over. Many thanks, Kerry. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for your time. Thank you all for your attending, attending our webinar. Hope you get a lot of values from our webinar. And please, let's work together to maximize booking potential. See you next time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.